ये तो So, good evening, everyone. In our last class, we were discussing about magnetic resonance spectroscopy. I would just discuss in short what we have discussed. We have discussed that uh, the atoms like H1, okay, so which has a nuclear spin of half. If we place this atom within a magnetic environment, then it will show some magnetic properties, and these hydrogen atoms, they will act as tiny magnets under a strong magnetic field. Okay, then we discussed, suppose herein we have the sample, we have placed it under a magnetic field. Okay, so the tiny magnets will be within the sample, and then we'll be having we'll be giving some radio frequency pulses onto the sample, and at the contrary, so during the off time of the giving the pulses, during that time we will be doing the analysis. So the what you call electromagnetic ray generator and detector, they work in tandem. So when AMR generator it is on, the detector would be off, and vice versa. So during the off time of the AMR generator, the AMR detector, in this case the AMR is radio frequency pulse, right? The AMR detector would sense the radio frequencies which will be generated by the samples, right? And they will be detected. So by looking into this, these analyze these radio frequencies radiations, EMR radiation, we can find out the property of the sample. Now we have talked about shielding and de-shielding effects. Okay, there are more what you call in-depth analysis. We have not gone into that. Okay, so today we may be discussing those things. So we have discussed about shielding and the de-shielding effect, and we have seen that when we plot NMR plot is in the reverse direction. So its origin is on the right hand side, and it starts with 0, and it is given with the scale is given with delta ppm. Okay, and we have discussed that towards the 0 we are having upfield. Upfield means higher magnetic field, and on the leftmost side we have downfield. Okay, so we have discussed these things. So let's go to the one of the this NMR plots which we have seen over here. So if you've seen this TMS spectra, where it comes, it is regarded as 0, and then on the left hand side as we go, we have a downfield. That means if you see over here, the magnetic field increases on towards the right hand side. Okay, that means if we go from 0 towards the left hand side, the magnetic field it decreases. Now in our last class we have talked about the shielding and de-shielding. When we talked about that we have north and south poles and we have a magnet over here, suppose, which is shielded with various electrons, and that is why it has not gone into the what you call alpha state, the low energy state. Okay, now we have discussed that for taking this small magnetic vector in complete disagreement, or in the if you see the magnetic field is in this direction, and if you want to take this small magnet which is being generated by the hydrogen atom, which is completely opposite to the B0 field or the B0 vector, we needed lower energy. Okay, now my question to you is, I was expecting this question, but none of you have asked this question. So I assume that all of you have understood what is happening. So now I am asking you this question, that I have told that the energy required to get this proton to the highest energy state, the beta state, is lower in this condition. However, when we are getting the signal over here, if you see the de-shielded these protons, they are appearing at high magnetic field. Okay, high magnetic field means high energy. So why this is so? Can anyone tell me? Why this is happening? Hello? Anyone there?
So is it because of the double bond O group?
Uh-huh. So what happens?
It's like
So if
the
you
double
see
bond.
over here, um, we are having this thing, right? Um, this tiny magnet is being shielded. Yeah. And there is a term which is called fixed frequency. Okay. Anyone? So please look into the thing. What is happening over here? Is these hydrogen atoms, they are shielded or de-shielded?
De-shielded.
Yeah. So whatever I have told over here, does this apply? What is this?
Uh,
This is shielded or de-shielded, this atom?
that one is shielded,
And this one is?
de-shielded.
That's
So if
de-shielded.
it would be de-shielded, then your magnetic vector would already been in this direction. So my question is wrong. Right? It is the other way around. If you see, when we are having this thing, if you see over here, so our magnetic field is highest at this location and lowest at this location. Okay, and it is lowest at this location, highest at 0 and lowest at on the left hand side. That we have to look. Okay, that is the important thing. So if you see the shielded electrons, they are appearing at a low magnetic field region. Okay, and it is the de-shielded protons, they are giving signal at a stronger magnetic field region. Okay, so um, now you are understood. So what is happening in all of this? If you see, these protons, these are highly de-shielded. These TMS protons, they are highly de-shielded. Okay, and hence it is considered to be at 0. And then in comparison to this, we find out at what this magnetic field we are getting the other frequency components. Now this shift, because all these peaks whatever we are getting, these are due to the protons, right, from the different molecules, right? Now this is called chemical shift. This shifting from this TMS, the peak shifting from the TMS, it is regarded as chemical shift, the shift of the peak. Okay. Now, as we go towards the left hand side, if you see, O is very strongly electronegative. It is pulling all the electrons towards itself. So there is no effect or very minimal effect of the electrons on this proton. So it will be towards its alpha state. Now, as you go towards this Cl and all this thing, so they will try to again pull the electrons over here, right? They will also try to pull the electrons over here, and
Yes, sir.
their however their pull is a bit smaller. Okay, and lastly, we have these hydrogen atoms. We are having a lot of electrons which are moving over here. Okay.
Sir,
No, sorry, I also got confused.
sir, it's like,
Yeah, it's
is
the
it?
opposite way. Sorry.
Yeah,
Yeah, no, low magnetic field, na? It is getting this thing. Okay, yeah, these are more de-shielded. Sorry, I'm
sir,
sorry.
aromatic are less de-shielded than aliphatic, right? Because of higher
Yeah,
chemical
yeah,
shift,
yeah, yeah,
shielding.
yeah, yeah. That's what I told. So these are this is more what do you call this aromatic ring. It will take up more electrons because there will be an electron cloud over here, and to maintain the stability of this one, um, what it will do, it will take up the electrons towards itself. Yeah, you are right. So um, um, let me start again. I'm
Sir,
sorry. Okay.
my doubt
Let me
is
start
that,
again. Yeah, let me start again because I also got confused in between.
okay.
So what happens? So when you have this uh, what you call magnet, north and south, and we have these tiny magnets of the protons, and they are being shielded over here like this one with the electrons. Okay. Now, in this case, what happens is that when we talk about this first frequency, That means there is a particular frequency at where we will be the atoms, they will be absorbing the radio frequencies to a maximum level. Okay, and then only they will go to the high energy state. Okay, now as we said, there are two stages: alpha stage where the protons are in the low energy state, and beta state where the protons are in the high energy state. Okay, so if we have to flip this beta state, if the protons are being shielded, it would require smaller amount of energy to flip over there. Now there is a condition which is called Larmor frequency. Larmor frequency says omega 0 is equal to gamma B0. Okay, now this is the frequency at which the proton precesses means if we are having a proton and it is circling around its axis. Now during this circulation, it creates a frequency, and that frequency is regarded as Larmor frequency. And these protons can only absorbs energy, or the radio frequency energy, which are being radiated at the Larmor frequency. Okay, so in this case, if you see what we are doing, we are using a constant magnetic field, increasing magnetic field, and we are keeping our frequency constant. That means our omega 0 is constant. Okay, now if our omega 0 is constant, what we are expecting? We are expecting that at the alpha stage, that means the lowest energy state, that means under the de-shielded state, if we bring the proton molecules under this alpha state, then only this radio frequency will be able to flip the state, this proton state, to the beta state. Okay, now what happens over here? So when there is an de-shielded state, this RF frequency, it will be able to flip it, and during the off time, and as I have already told you that when we make an RF radiation incident onto the sample, it comes in pulses. That means there will be a pulse, then there will be some stop gap, then again there will be some pulses, then again there will be some stop gap. Okay, so in this period, when we are having no RF pulse which is being irradiated onto the sample, we will analyze for radio frequency which are being emitted by the samples. Okay, from the samples. And why it should happen? You consider a point. Suppose we are considering this XYZ plane. X, Y, and Z plane. Okay, so our magnetic field is in this direction, B0. Okay, so what happens? You have the net magnetization vector aligned in the direction of the magnetic field, and this is due to the proton. Now when you are, and this net magnetization vector, it is basically not a straight line, as I showed you, it is at a tilted angle, and it basically creates an axis like this. So it moves like this, right, in a circular manner. It's just like a top. If you are having a top, many a times you will find then when it moves across this axis, it creates a path, something like this, circular path onto the ground. So that is called precision. That is called the top is precessing. This working or it is not spinning at its axis in a straight line. It is what you call spinning at an angle. So this phenomena is called precision. Okay, and hence this is called this frequency is called precision frequency. Now here, when you give this radio frequency signal to this net magnetization vector, it is moving, and then what happens? It moves to the high energy state. High energy state means 180-degree flip. Over here it comes to the 180-degree flip. Now when you put off this signal over here, when you stop this radio frequency signal, what it will try to do? It will try to come back to its original position, but it is precessing. So how it will come back? It will move in a spiral wave and then it will come over here. So initially it will be having this thing and then something like this. It will come and it will align itself to this B0. So what it is doing? It is going from high energy state to low energy state. So in our previous cases we have seen when any electron or any molecule comes from high energy state to the low energy state, it emits radiations. In this case, the radiation happens in the radio frequency domain, RF domain. Okay. So we get this. Now we have talked about this, that when there is a de-shielded state, that means there is this alpha state. Okay. So because what we are doing, we have fixed the frequency over here. We have fixed the frequency over here, right? So that means we are considering that the protons are in the alpha state. Okay. Now if you have to bring these shielded protons to the alpha state, what you have to do? You have to increase the B0. Okay, you have to increase the B0. So what B0 will do? B0 would ensure the say B0 plus delta B. Okay, so you have to add up some extra magnetic field. So when you are adding up this extra magnetic field, you are ensuring that the net magnetic field which is being perceived, so suppose after this one it comes over here in the alpha state. So by increasing this, by adding this delta B, what you are ensuring? You are ensuring that the shielded protons, they are also experiencing a net magnetic field of B0. They are also experiencing the net magnetic field of B0 even in the presence of the electrons. Okay. Now this proton which has come to the alpha state, it is now ready to absorb the radio frequency of omega 0 and then go to the high energy state. Okay. Am I clear? Am I clear? Any doubt till now?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, good. Now coming to the spectral analysis. So what we are seeing, when there is extra electrons, they will be needing higher magnetic field, right? So if you see in this direction we are having higher magnetic field, so at the right hand side we are having the high magnetic field over here, and TMS, trimethylsilane, it is used as the reference. Now in our yesterday's class there was a confusion about this electronegativity. So what happens if you see over here this silicon, it tries to get some first of all it is surrounded with carbons. Okay, so it is sharing some electrons. So what it does is that to meet its requirement, so if it tries to pull a smaller amount of electrons, say you are having electron pairs, okay, so they will this electron, so suppose you are having A and B. Under normal circumstances you have this electron being shared between A and B. However, if one of them is highly electronegative, then this pair of electron will slightly shift to the atom which is highly electronegative. So there will be a certain shift. Okay, but this shift is not enough to remove the electron cloud density of the protons. Okay, hence this TMS protons, they are regarded as the shielded protons. They are regarded as the shielded protons. And due to this reason, since the TMS is in the high shielding this thing, and all these proton, they are in the same chemical environment. So how many protons we have in total over here? 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3. That means we are having 12 protons giving a single peak, and you will find the TMS peak will be very high. Okay. Now this TMS protons, they are highly shielded. So this delta B, whatever we are adding, this should be the highest in TMS. Okay, and hence the TMS is taken as 0, and this position where the TMS peak appears, it is regarded as 0, and this axis is called delta and the unit is ppm. Okay. Now in this case, if you see, definitely oxygen is a highly electronegative element. Okay, but if you see, oxygen is far off from these two protons. So the electronegativity effect of oxygen, it will be more pronounced on the this C with which it is attached rather than on the protons. Okay, hence the delta B which will be required in comparison to the TMS, it will be lower, hence it peaks appears at a higher delta. Okay, where or in terms of the magnetic field, somewhat lower magnetic field. Okay, similarly when we come towards this CCl2H2, here the electronegative elements, they are directly attached to the carbon, so they are directly trying to get the electrons from here, and in return carbon is getting too much depleted and it is trying to get the electrons from the protons, and hence it appears at a lesser delta B as compared to this aldehydic group. Okay, and lastly when we talk about this aromatic ring, over here we are having a cloud of electrons which are constantly rotating, and they are always trying to be trying to bring this structure at a stable or a conjugated position, so that the structure can be stabilized. And this is the reason why benzene can be easily modified with different functional groups. Okay, because due to the mobility of this electron cloud, it is always ready to accept some electrons from the outer environment and get to a more stable position. Okay, now herein what happens, since this core, it is electron hungry. It is trying to pull in the electron clouds from the protons, and due to this reason the protons of the benzene ring, they are appearing to be a what you call in a de-shielded state, relatively de-shielded state in comparison to the other molecules what we are discussing. Okay, and hence the benzene protons, they will give no, peak at a much lower what you call at a much lower magnetic field as compared to the other molecules which has been shown over here. Okay, so this is the basics of your NMR spectroscopy and how to analyze the things. Okay, so any question over here? So if you see de-shielded and shielded. So shielded shielded protons, they appear at a high magnetic field, and de-shielded protons, they appear at a low magnetic field. Okay. And if you see another arrangement, it may be you increase frequency and keep your magnetic field fixed. Okay, but the current day this NMR spectroscopes, they employ the first method. They keep the frequency fixed and then they start increasing the magnetic field. Okay, so they basically they increase the B0 content. Okay, so higher the magnetic field you will apply, so you will be able to what you call get rid of the shielding condition of the protons, and you will be able to give the actual B0 to the protons which are being shielded. Okay, I hope you have understood about this. Do you have any doubts?
No, sir.
Is it clear now?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. Now, in our last class, we were discussing about this NMR spectroscope. So, what happens over here? See, there is a magnet. If you now see that there is a magnet, so these are the magnetic permanent magnets. Okay, suppose this is the north and this is the south. Maybe let me change the color. This is the north, this is south. Okay, so it will create the B0. Okay, apart from this, you will be having these sweep coils. So what is this sweep coil doing? It is increasing the B0 by delta B amount. So this delta B is being increased using this sweep coils. Okay, so you start with B0 and then you go on increasing this delta B so that you can increase the magnetic field so as to negate the effect of the shielding by the electrons on the protons, right? So you do that over here in this fashion. Then we have talked about radio frequency transmitter. We have this radio frequency transmitter. So we have the cuvette over here. It transmits the cuvette. It transmits this radio frequency transmitter. It transmits the radio frequency waves to the samples to excite the protons. Okay, and then we have the radio frequency receiver and amplifier. So during the off time of this radio frequency transmitter, these coils, these secondary coils which are being marked in brown, they will capture the radio frequency signals from the sample and they will send it. So if you see the controller, control console and the recorder, it is controlling both radio frequency transmitter and the radio frequency receiver and amplifier. So it knows at what time the radio pulse is being generated and what time it is off. Okay, during this off time it activates the radio frequency receiver and amplifier. Okay, so that it can receive the radio frequencies, this thing. Now if you see this cuvette, this cuvette, it is being rotated. Okay, so spinning sample tube. Now why it is done? This is done so that all the these molecules within the samples, they receive a radio frequency in a uniform manner. So what is the advantage? The advantage is that if more and more molecule will be excited, then you will be able to get a more stronger signal. Okay, I hope now you have understood what is the functioning of the NMR spectroscope, how it functions, and you can correlate with the analysis, right? Okay. Your voice is breaking up. I am not able to listen.
Okay. Hello.
Yeah. Can you post
Sir,
in the
I am
WhatsApp
saying
group
like
what you want to ask?
okay.
Anyone else who is having any doubt? How will we control delta B? That's what I told you, na? This delta B is being controlled by these sweep coils. So this sweep generator, which is again controlled by this thing, it will slowly. Um, uh, so we talked about this, say electricity, right hand rule. Okay, when you pass current, an electric field will be generated in this way, right? So herein, if you see the coils, you are having the coils over here. Now slowly through this sweep generator, if you increase the current, your delta B will be generated. It will be slowly increased because I is proportional to the B, right? As you increase the strength of the current, you will be able to increase the B. Now here in we are giving we are basically generating this delta B using the sweep coils. So I is proportional to the delta B. So this delta B can be increased by increasing the current through these sweep coils. And the arrangement is made such that your uh, net direction over here, this your net magnetic field, it increases in a ratio of B plus delta B. Okay, so the net magnetization vector.
Okay. Yes.
Okay, anything else? No? Then I think I will stop over here today.